Alright, let's dive into this minor league recap, but trust me, we're not just skimming the surface here. There's so much more to these games than just the final scores. Personally, I think these minor league updates are like a treasure trove of future MLB stars and hidden storylines. So, let's kick things off with a question. What does it really mean when a player like Michel Forret makes his debut for the Norfolk Tides after being reacquired? Is it just another transaction, or is there something deeper here? First up, the AAA game between the Buffalo Bisons and the Norfolk Tides. Michel Forret, recently back in the Orioles organization, had a solid debut. Now, here's what I find fascinating. Forret pitched 4.2 innings, allowed just 2 runs, but the final score doesn't reflect his performance. What many people don't realize is that bullpen meltdowns can completely overshadow a starter's strong outing. Yosver Zulueta and Dietrich Enns had a rough day, giving up runs in a hurry. This raises a deeper question: how much control does a starter really have over the final outcome? It's a team game, but individual performances can get lost in the shuffle. On the bright side, Willems and Rece Hinds showed some pop with a homer and an RBI double, respectively. This is where I think we need to pause and appreciate the small victories. Minor league players are grinding every day, and moments like these can be huge for their confidence. If you take a step back and think about it, these guys are one step away from the big leagues, and every at-bat matters. Now, let's talk about the AA matchup between the Harrisburg Senators and the Chesapeake Baysox. Trace Bright had a stellar outing, pitching 6 innings with just 1 run allowed on a solo homer. Here's my take: Bright's performance is a perfect example of how dominant pitching can still result in a loss. The Baysox hitters were shut out, but they managed 6 singles. What this really suggests is that sometimes, it's not about the power, it's about stringing together hits and putting pressure on the defense. But in this case, it just wasn't enough. Moving on to High A, the Frederick Keys put on an offensive clinic against the Jersey Shore BlueClaws. 4 home runs, 7 doubles, and 11 walks. That's not just a good day, that's a statement. Enddy Azocar, Randal Díaz, and Colin Tuft each had 3 hit games, and Braylon Tavera added a homer. What makes this really interesting is how the Keys bats completely overshadowed their pitching struggles. Carson Dorsey and Ben Vespi gave up 8 runs, but the offense bailed them out. From my perspective, this is a classic case of how baseball is a team sport. You don't always need perfection in every area to win. Lastly, the low-A game between the Fredericksburg Nationals and the Delmarva Shorebirds was a wild ride. Delmarva blew 2 leads, and both teams hit grand slams. Luis Ortega's grand slam in the 6th inning was the highlight, but the Shorebirds bullpen couldn't hold it together. Brian Orantilla and Jack Crowder had tough outings, giving up crucial runs. One thing that immediately stands out is how quickly momentum can shift in baseball. A grand slam can turn the tide, but if your bullpen can't close it out, it's all for nothing. So, what's the bigger picture here? Minor league baseball is more than just a stepping stone, it's a proving ground where players face adversity, learn from mistakes, and showcase their potential. Personally, I think these games are a goldmine for understanding the future of the sport. Every pitch, every at-bat, and every decision matters. It's not just about who wins or loses, it's about the stories being written and the lessons being learned. What do you think? Are there any players or moments from these games that caught your eye? Let me know in the comments below.